So this is how you build killer endurance, like that Mirab level endurance, right? So here's my story, right? So before, right, when I was like maybe a kid or something, I've had terrible endurance. Like in school, there was this like little run-in drill where you had to run from like here to here. It was called like bleep test. If you live in the UK, you probably know what I mean, right? But what you do, just run back and forth in like this line, and like how many times you'd run is it would be like kind of like a measurement to see like how far you can keep on running, if that makes sense. And usually I would actually be like the first person to like one of the first people to like like step off because I couldn't continue anymore. Like even like honestly even like earlier than most of like the girls, and like honestly some of the fat kids had better endurance than me. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't fat, but I was like skinny fat kind of. I've never had good endurance basically, right? I've always gotten tired easily. Also, especially in like fighting as well, I've never really had like good endurance. Like I've always been like, you know what I mean? Like if that was my energy tank, I'd always be like gassed out by like the end of the session. I would always like be really tired and everything. And now, to be fair, now I've built like quite a good level of endurance. Like I've had like in jiu-jitsu, I've had 10 matches in a day, and I've comfortably like won most of them by submission. Right, so like you know what I mean. Like I think nowadays I've got the like quite decent endurance. Like I can go. I've had into clubs where I've like fought like 3 minutes, like 3 rounds, 3 minutes at like a high pace, a high like you know what I mean. And I can do it now. I can spar for like 15 rounds straight without like even gassing out. You know what I mean? So that's my story with endurance. And so how do you even build it, right? So firstly, I'd say build your aerobic base. So usually what you'd hear people say is like, oh yeah, no, you should do high intensity interval training, and even I thought this as well, right? You should do high intensity interval training because MMA or like fighting is an anaerobic sport, right? Anaerobic. So everyone online says, "Oh yeah, no, you need to be doing high intensity interval training, high intensity interval training." Everyone's like saying, "Oh yeah, do high intensity interval training." All of this, right? I think honestly, especially as a beginner, right? Before even like get doing any high intensity interval training, I think you should build an aerobic base. I think this is the mistake I had. I was trying to do like hit training without having any like so like doing if you don't know what hit training is, it's just basically we do like interval sprints. So you go like 20 seconds all out and then 40 seconds rest. For example, that's like my split that I like doing: 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off. And the thing is, I've always lacked in my aerobic base has always been lacking basically, and I think this is one of my biggest issues because I've never trained my aerobic endurance because I thought it was just a waste of time. But I think only now am I realizing that okay, yeah, that's probably like the reason why, because I think you need to build an aerobic base first, right? So at least 8 weeks you should do aerobic base. So what is like aerobic training? So that would be like steady state cardio. So for example, like if you do say if you run like a 5k for example, right? That would be aerobic training because you're running at a steady state continuously and it's low intensity. So low intensity, that's like the key definition of aerobic endurance, right? So the aerobic, especially especially when you're not competing, because I'm assuming you're maybe starting out in MMA, or like you're maybe in an off season, you're not really doing any sort of competitions or fights or anything. I think you should prioritize aerobic training before you even do any sort of like high intensity interval, like sprint training or like fucking muscular endurance workouts and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, so build your aerobic base. Focus more on literally like the long distance, like the low intensity long distance run. So like run for like 20 to like 30 minutes to like even an hour. Like some people do that, but like I'd say like half an hour is like a decent time to run for. You know what I mean? Like fights don't really go longer than that, but you know what I mean. You can still run for an hour and stuff, but. You know what I mean? I'll say just for now, stick to 20 to 30 minutes. Like, some people don't really have like an hour to run. So yeah, stick 20 to 30 minutes, maybe like what I mean. You don't have to be like just remember, right? But you're not trying to be a runner. You're just trying to be you're just trying to build your aerobic base. So I'd say just you don't even have to really like track like how much you run. Like I'm gonna run 2k today. I'm gonna run 3k. Just literally set like a time. So set like on like the clock app on your phone. Just go there, set a timer for like 20 to 30 minutes. Just like maybe for example, just put 25 minutes and literally just run at a pace where you could maintain that for. right? So here's the 80-20 rule for once you've completed. So say if once now you've completed the 8 weeks of, okay, you're not going to do any high intensity interval training. You're just going to build your aerobic base. What should you do after you build that aerobic base? I think you should still focus on 80-20, on like the 80-20 rule, because you still want to make developments towards your aerobic endurance, right? So what's going like in the week, 80 like so say if you had 5 endurance sessions a week, like for example, right? 4 of those should be aerobic, and then you should have one high intensity interval training a week, right? So I think if you're doing high intensity interval training, I think once a week is just perfect. Like especially like maybe right now you're not trying to be a professional fighter, but doing it once a week, I think for now it should be more than enough. Like I say, only time you should ever like do more than you should do like high intensity interval training more than once a week would be like maybe if you're like maybe if you're competing. But for now, just leave it out. Okay. So my recommendation would be just do 3 sessions a week, and 2 of them make it aerobic. One make it high intensity interval training a week, once a week, right? So you've got 2 aerobic, and you've got 1 anaerobic. They're quite simple, right? So anaerobic would be stuff like sprints, you know what I mean? Like so 20 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Like so you go 100% for 20 seconds. Like it's just say, let's just say 30-30. So for 30 seconds you're going to go 100% on the air bike, or for example, or literally you could do sprints if you want. That's a really good option as well. And 30 seconds just rest, and 30 seconds 100%. Like you know what I mean? Like kind of like short bursts of high intensity. So hit training is high intensity, and then sorry, my brother interrupted me. So, where were we? So, yeah, so this is high intensity training, and then aerobic, this is your low intensity training. And the good thing about aerobic endurance is that, okay, it's low intensity, so that you're not really sacrificing any of your, like, kind of, you know what I mean, your recovery or anything. If you do high intensity interval training like 3 times a week, you're going to sacrifice on your sessions and your yeah, training like high intensity interval training 3 times a week will mess up with your strength and conditioning. So like your lifting, and also fuck up your like MMA training as well. So obviously you want like a balance between the two. So why? Why should you build the aerobic base instead of the fucking anaerobic base to start off with, right? And the thing is, most of the time, it's lacking. Because look, right, your aerobic base is what you need to I'll spell out for you. Recover. That's terrible handwriting, but whatever. That is what you need to recover, and especially as a beginner, like that, you need to recover. Like from sessions, it will help you to recover. Not recovery as in sessions, although like aerobic training can help with that, but recovering like in between rounds and like fights in like sparring sessions, for example. And usually that's what you need first before like anything else. And like you know what I mean, like it will just help your baseline cardio. It will lower your like you're trying to get your heart rate down, right? Because you want to be like athletic, right? And you know what I mean, aerobic training is just the simplest way to do it. So yeah, how should your training be? Okay, so have 3. I'd say for now, if you're a beginner, have 2 sessions a week where you're doing aerobic training. So now you can choose what you want to do. For example, so the most common form would probably be like running, for example. What else you could do is cycling. Although I usually like the thing is cycling. I usually like I don't really get to like. It doesn't really work for me cycling. I don't know. I just feel like I cheat on it too much. You know what I mean? Like I go like, especially if you use like a real life bike. Like I just kind of cheat on like the bike. It's not like a workout for me to cycle to somewhere. So yeah, cycling. You could do swimming if that's your thing. You could do like any of like machines, or like in the gym. Like you see those like stairmasters, whatever. In my opinion, I think running usually like works best for me, right? But you could do any of the other methods you want. Like the best cardio style is the one that you enjoy the most. So do the one you enjoy the most, right? There's so many different styles you can do, but make sure it's aerobic. So you're gonna be training like under maybe like 70% of your max heart rate, and you like if you can't figure this out, you might have like a watch or something where you can figure out your like max heart rate, but you have to be under 70, like 70%, or like maybe even 60 to be fair, right? You want it low intensity. You want to be in that zone too, right? So do whatever you like. Even for example, you could have like one of these sessions make it a running session, one of them make it a cycling, one of them a swimming, for example. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the same thing, but if you want it simple, if you just say if you just really enjoy running, then yeah, okay, cool. You just do running on both days. And now, after 8 weeks of consistently building your aerobic base, and like set yourself a goal as well, maybe. So you know when I said like you don't have to really track your distance, make a goal for when you can achieve 5k in under like 20 minutes, for example, like a sub 20 minute 5k. Then you can start working on your high intensity interval training. So then go from 2 days a week to 3 days a week, but that one extra day make it high intensity interval training, right? Yeah. Anyways, that's kind of all I really want to like cover in this video. I'm thinking about releasing like a school community where I would like basically just have all of this information, like the deepest knowledge, like the highest level basically. So obviously like a full guide on endurance, strength, power, hypertrophy, like you know what I mean, all like flexibility. I mean from a guy who's like actually like gone out there, tried it. You know what I mean? I'm a juvenile blue belt. It's worked for me. You know what I mean? And I think I have knowledge. I have enough knowledge. You know what I mean, to like kind of educate you in it. So if you do want that, just drop a comment below. I'll respond to it, and you know what I mean. I'll get it created. You know. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching.